I want to make it very clear here. Things have not gotten crazier. They haven't. They have in some degrees. Like, things have gotten a little bit crazier because of the internet, but mostly it's just people who are insane now have the ability to, talk about how crazy they are on the internet. I heard there was recently a really bad heat wave up in the Pacific Northwest up there, and honestly, it's going to be a pretty hot summer. It has been a very hot summer, and if you're like me, and you have trouble staying hydrated when it's hot out, and you sweat a lot, or the heat just gets to you, then you need cold water. But going back and forth to the fridge, that's a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. So why not keep your cold water with you in a bottle that'll keep it cold for a long time, is easy and convenient to use, and not to mention, looks pretty damn stylish. Introducing the Coldest Water. It's a brand that has a lot of different products, but my favorite thing from them are their water bottles. I actually have two of them. And I gotta say, I really like this upgrade. You versus who she tells you not to worry about. You know what I'm saying? If you would like to get one, you can actually get it for a pretty good discount. The link in the description. I have an affiliate code as well as an affiliate link. Go check it out. I get a cut of whatever you make, and you get a fairly sizable little bit taken off of the total buy if you pick anything up. So we all know what QAnon is, or at least we have like a decent idea of what it is. But for those that are somehow not aware, I'll go ahead and I'll give a rundown of what QAnon is and what the deal is. So Donald Trump, we all know, has a cult of personality surrounding him. A lot of Trump supporters believe that Donald Trump was like the greatest man, the greatest president of all time, that he was destined, ordained by God to make America great again. The insanity didn't stop there. It went even deeper. So, on 4chan, there was an individual who was very likely a troll, who had no power in the government and didn't actually have any inside information or knew anything about anything, who called himself Q. That's all. That was it. Just Q. Honestly, it was probably a Star Trek reference, and ended up gaining the name of QAnon because he goes by Q and he's on 4chan and he's anonymous, so it's Q anonymous, but QAnon, right? That's like the basics. I might have gotten some stuff wrong there. I've never followed the QAnon shit all that hardcore. It's a level to Q level security clearance. Really? Huh. I thought it was a reference to Star Trek. I thought it was a reference to Q. I'm gonna pretend like it's a reference to Q from Star Trek, frankly. But yeah. So QAnon, this figure who may not have even existed, because it's hard to track if a person claiming to be Q is the same person on 4chan. It's like pretty hard to track if it's the same person, made claims about how there was a cabal of rich, wealthy people with power who were torturing children and then draining them of their adrenochrome, which is a made-up thing that comes from the blood of scared children that keeps you alive forever. And the idea is the elites are torturing and murdering children and then drinking their blood to get their adrenochrome to keep them alive, like Hillary Clinton and Obama were doing that. The conspiracy theory is fucking crazy, and a lot of it has to do with child sex trafficking and pedophilia. For a while now, the FBI and other parts of the government whose responsibility it is to track and stop child sex trafficking have said for a while now that QAnon conspiracy theorists have made it harder for them to stop actual child sex trafficking. However, and we all knew that. We all know that QAnon is insane. But a story just came out a few days ago on the 13th, 3 days ago, exactly that I haven't really seen anybody covering, and I think it might be worth covering because it's pretty fucking insane. Got an article from NPR here. Trigger warning, by the way, child murder. I want to make it very clear here, the crazy QAnon people are all themselves pedophiles who are projecting and do not give a shit about children. So let's go ahead and read. A California father claims QAnon conspiracy led him to kill his 2 children, FBI says. A California father took his 2 young children to Mexico and killed them with a spearfishing gun after he claimed he had been enlightened by QAnon and Illuminati conspiracy theories, federal authorities say. According to a criminal complaint filed in federal court in California, Matthew Taylor Coleman reportedly told investigators he had been receiving visions and signs revealing that his wife possessed serpent DNA and had passed it on to his children, and that by killing them, he was saving the world from monsters. QAnon is a conspiracy theory popular among some of the far right that claims Democratic politicians operate a cabal that kidnaps and tortures children using their blood in satanic rituals. It wasn't the first time authorities responded to a crime based on a conspiracy theory that originated on the internet. In 2016, Edgar Madison Welch entered a Washington, D.C. pizzeria and fired a rifle into a door, claiming he was investigating the debunked Pizzagate rumor. That conspiracy theory claimed that the Comet Ping Pong restaurant was the hub of a satanic child sex abuse ring associated with the top Democratic politicians. Welch was later sentenced to 4 years in prison. I want to make it very clear here, any lefty who claims the right and the left in this country, like the Republicans and the Democrats, are just as bad as each other in this country, are subhuman filth. I'm going to be completely honest. When shit like this is happening, anyone who can say with a straight face that the Democrats and the Republicans are just as bad as each other are fucking insane. The Democrats are leagues better morally and pragmatically in regards to policy than the Republicans will ever be. The Republican Party has become the party of QAnon. This is no longer like a fringe thing. Maybe not the majority, but a significant amount of Republicans believe in QAnon shit. How authorities tracked down Matthew Taylor Coleman. Coleman, 40, was first reported missing by his wife, identified in the complaint as AC, on Saturday. She was unable to reach him by phone after he left in the family's van with their 2 children, a 2-year-old boy and a 10-month-old girl. The next day, at the suggestion of police, AC used the Find My iPhone application to track Coleman's last known location to an open-air shopping center in Rosarito in the Mexican state of Baja California. When Coleman arrived Monday at the U.S.-Mexico border crossing in San Isidro? Probably Cedro is probably how it's pronounced. Isidro? Without his children, law enforcement officers took him into custody. Earlier that morning, Mexican authorities had discovered the bodies of the 2 children with puncture wounds in their chests. Coleman apparently told investigators he knew that killing his children was wrong, but said it was the only course of action that would save the world. Mexican officials also recovered the weapon, bloody clothes, and a baby's blanket, authorities said. Coleman has been charged with the foreign murder of U.S. nationals. And that's more or less all there is to it. It's not a very deep story. It's literally just this crazy fucking QAnon dad murdered his children. And I guess in light of this, I've been meaning to do a segment on QAnon for a while, but I haven't. I actually have neglected to do a segment on QAnon. I've been meaning to do one since Trump was in office. But, considering this has just happened and, it's pretty fucked, I figure now would be a better time than any to just say, let's do a QAnon segment, huh? I mean, we could just end it right there and do that little, that 6-minute segment. That's not what we're doing. Let's learn about QAnon. Did this come out when Trump was still president? I imagine it did, huh? No, it didn't. Biden was already president.
Hello there, I'm Chuck Todd, and welcome to Meet the Press Reports, where we take a look beyond the day-to-day headlines to dive deep into a single subject in American politics. And today, that subject is QAnon.
Subtitles?
No, you can't
I can turn it up.
ignore it. So what is it? Where did it come from? And is it unique to the Trump era? Here's what we do know. QAnon is a blanket conspiracy.
Look at this motherfucker. Hold on. Look at this motherfucker. This person looks like an SJW. This person looks like they would be in the cover, edit out the Trump hat and the QAnon flag. This person looks like they would be in the thumbnail for a 2016 era anti-SJW, cringe compilation response video. Ben Shapiro owns SJWs, whatever the fuck.
Conspiracy theory that one of our experts today describes as the granddaddy of conspiracies because it sort of includes all of them and essentially gobbles up all other conspiracy theories in its path. And it's more a religion these days than a political movement, and we're going to get to that in a little while as well. But there is a very dark and dangerous component that people on all sides of the political spectrum have to be wary of. And that has to do with the fact that the American political system, we've been here before. From the early days of this country's founding, there have been government skeptics turned...
I want to make it very clear here. Things have not gotten crazier. They haven't. They have in some degrees. Like, things have gotten a little bit crazier because of the internet, but mostly it's just people who are insane now have the ability to, talk about how crazy they are on the internet. And they have more of a platform. But people have always believed crazy shit like this. Go back. I watched, like, a few months ago with my girlfriend, Lonnie, I watched the movie Dr. Strangelove, or its original name, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. And the main villain in that movie is literally a textbook QAnon conspiracy theorist Nazi. He believes that women are trying to extract his precious bodily fluids to push some sort of crazy conspiracy theory. So he does a false flag to make the United States Air Force who are carrying nukes believe that the president has been killed, that Washington's been destroyed, and that they need to retaliate and drop a bomb on Russia, which ended up starting World War III at the end of the movie. Big spoiler. Very good movie. Pretty odd, but good movie. Certainly a good movie. And this was a movie made in, like, what, the 60s? When did Doctor Strangelove come out? It was in black and white. That's how old it is. It's so old that there are examples of rhetoric not too different from modern-day Trumpy conspiracy theorists in movies that were made in black and white. It's the same shit repackaged to be made more, like, digestible to a younger, newer audience of people susceptible to that propaganda. It came out in 1964. Yeah, people, like, basically QAnon shit was around in 1964. And that character and the shit he believes wasn't made up. That movie was a politically prescient satire of the American government and American, like, right-wing nationalism and Red Scare propaganda at the time. That movie was accurate to a lot of shit. You can't fight here. This is the war room. Such a good line.
Conspiracy theorists. But until very recently, these folks weren't armed with the tool that they now use to propagate their message.
The internet.
Social media.
Yeah.
On that front, there are signs of good news. A number of platforms have attempted to crack down or ban QAnon, including new moves from Facebook this week. But the most important defining characteristic about QAnon is that it is a political conspiracy theory. It's chiefly a pro-Trump one. QAnon followers consider President Trump their savior. And as the president chooses not to turn away any supporter, it's becoming mainstream. The Republican Party now needs to acknowledge its existence because it has a QAnon problem. Will the party rid its ranks of QAnon? Or will it let it get mainstreamed by turning a blind eye and letting it flourish?
Do you believe there's a ring of high-profile politicians who are kidnapping and sacrificing children?
I do believe that.
We don't sit behind it.
Why does that dude walk like PC Principal from South Park? Do you see that? Do you see that guy's strut?
Do you believe there's a ring of high-profile politicians who are kidnapping and sacrificing children?
I do believe that.
We don't sit behind a TV to see what's going on with the media lying to us every minute. We need to go out and find out what the truth is.
It also believes that there's a cannibalistic ring of pedophiles.
And if that comes to be true,
has its extremists.
I didn't say it couldn't be true, but I didn't say it could be true.
QAnon, once a fringe phenomenon, is now exploding online. A symptom of how susceptible America is to a conspiracy theory, supercharged by the power of social media.
It began in the outreaches of the internet on a chat board called 4chan in October 2017. And it alleged that there was a kind of group of satanic conspirators buried deep.
God, every time mainstream media brings up 4chan, even if them talking about it like they're correct, it does always come off as pretty cringy, you know?
In the US government who were working to undermine the US nation, and that Donald Trump was battling these conspirators.
The Atlantic's Adrienne LaFrance has spent months studying QAnon and its shadowy origins.
This mysterious figure, Q, is someone with military intelligence who's secretly working with Donald Trump to take down high-profile Democrats who are in private abusing children.
QAnon has now become this sort of goulash or casserole of all the various conspiracy theories out there.
Kim Holberg says her fiancé left her after being drawn into the QAnon conspiracy online.
The anti-vaxxers and the chemtrail people and the flat earthers and the Spygate people and Obamagate and et cetera, all of that has now found a home.
According to analysis from Dynata on QAnon supporters, 63% are white.
Dude, There are actually men out there that love Trump more than they love pussy. There are straight men out there who love Donald Trump more than pussy. More than their own wives. It's so bizarre to me.
58% are male.
Donald Trump's got the
have a
fattest
household
pussy,
income
though,
of
let's
less
be
than
honest.
$75,000 a year, and just 30% have a bachelor's degree or equivalent. And 58% are supporting Donald Trump for president.
It is at its core a pro.
Wait, are they implying that that's poor? I make less than $75,000 a year. Shit. I'm in QAnon's target audience.
Trump conspiracy theories.
I'm a white man who makes less than $75K a year.
They just don't like seeing it. So I don't know really anything about it other than they do supposedly like me.
The president has retweeted QAnon linked accounts hundreds of times and boosted congressional candidates who supported it, like Georgia Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is running now virtually unopposed and who Mr. Trump has called a future Republican star.
There's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cable of Satan-worshiping pedophiles out. And I think we have the president to do it.
Crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it.
Trump can't
say what you want, but Trump was a master crypto fascist. He was a master at Pepe posting. You know what I mean? Like, he was very good at saying, well, I don't know. I mean, wouldn't that be a good thing? I've never heard of it. I don't know if this is true, but, you know, you think that'd be, like, to get enough heat off his back from the media, but to make sure every QAnon follower watching feels emboldened by him and as though he's on their side. Not a disavowal and not a full-on agreement. Something right in the middle. He struck a good balance that let him get away with a lot of really fucked up shit.
Campaign ads have featured supporters with QAnon paraphernalia, and the Republican Party has grappled with whether and how to distance itself.
Big mistake. This is a group of nuts and kooks, and he ought to disavow them.
But dozens of candidates, nearly all Republicans, have voiced support.
True boomer.
This month, the House voted to condemn QAnon.
Resolution is adopted.
But 17 Republicans and 1 independent voted against the resolution. Central to the QAnon cult is a loss of faith in government. More than 60% of QAnon supporters believe there's...
Do you know who's actually the main target of QAnon? Shoe on Head. I think Shoe on Head is like... Listen, I know we've dunked on Shoe a few times this stream. You know, I promise it's a coincidence. I'm not... You know, like, I don't hate Shoe on Head, but, like, Shoe on Head's politics and her beliefs and her values, she is, like, the perfect target for QAnon conspiracy shit. She is a 9/11 truther. I believe she actually does think George Bush did 9/11. That, or she's joked about it so much that it's impossible to tell what she genuinely believes, which is in itself a bad thing. I think Pepe posting as a political figure can be very irresponsible if it's not obvious you're joking. And in her case... It's not obvious. And I think she genuinely believes that Bush did 9/11 and, like, maybe she actually does believe a little bit in, like, the Pizzagate stuff. I think she does believe in, like, the Democrats are all pedophiles that were, you know, fucking around with kids with Epstein or whatever. She definitely believes that. But she's, like, if she weren't already, like, pretty bought into, like, progressivism, I feel like she could probably go the QAnon route. Absolutely. Like, her sort of very anti-government, which, you know, I'm pretty big on. I'm not very pro-government, but I'm still realistic about things. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But she's very anti-government, and very skeptical, and she's pretty edgy, and pretty interested in conspiracy theories, which does make her pretty susceptible. Plus, she's white. Plus she's Ducker's white, which makes her a pretty good target for QAnon. I think she'd agree. Honestly.
Soon will be a civil war in the United States.
It's a force that erodes our shared reality at a time when...
Nah, she's Italian? True, she is POC. I watched a little bit of Eddie Murphy's Raw last night. My mom made me put it on, even though I've seen it a million times. And there's a line that Eddie Murphy had in that stand-up where he says that Italian people act a lot like black people. And he does like this stand-up where he talks about, like, have you seen Italian people, like, how they talk and act? They act like black people. And I was like, huh, even Eddie Murphy thinks that Italian are POC. I thought that was funny. So yeah, Sean Hitt is actually POC. She's Italian, as am I.
Divisions in our country are already extraordinarily stark.
Propelling it are racist and anti-Semitic tropes. Just 33% completely agree that Senator Kamala Harris is a natural-born citizen, eligible for the presidency. And the FBI has labeled QAnon a domestic terror threat.
We have had cases where properly predicated cases involving violence where people have been motivated by some of those conspiracy theories.
In 2017, a North Carolina man was sentenced to 4 years in prison after firing a gun in a D.C. pizza restaurant where he was looking for a non-existent child trafficking ring run by...
Oh my god, this dude looks like he's gonna be pissed off about Max Caulfield spilling his beans. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Am I right, chat? Am I right or am I right? Am I right or am I right? Am I right or am I fucking right? My beans.
By Democrats, all an internet lie. In 2018, a QAnon supporter was arrested after a standoff on Hoover Dam. He faces terrorism charges. Now QAnon accounts have become central to the spread of disinformation on the coronavirus.
In the middle of March this year, at the same time pretty much as lockdowns were coming in throughout the world, conversation about QAnon online skyrocketed.
According to Dynata, nearly half of QAnon supporters say the coronavirus isn't real, and half say 5G cellular technology is responsible for its spread. QAnon accounts have pushed the conspiracy theory that President Trump is not sick with the virus, but carrying out secret missions in an imagined war.
I believe that President Trump
was
approached by military, and it's been a plan.
There he is. He's walking like PC principal.
So joining me now, our former FBI special agent.
All right, that's enough. We got the lowdown on what QAnon believes. All right, so we've got QAnon conspiracy theorist motherfuckers murdering their children, shooting up pizzerias, committing terrorist attacks, spreading misinformation, and making it harder for the FBI to hunt actual pedophiles and child sex trafficking rings. I feel as though if you're watching this and you're just some normie who stumbled across my content, or maybe you're playing around with the QAnon stuff, the conspiracy theories, etc., 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 maybe you'll come out of this and you'll think, all right, maybe I should give a second or third thought to this whole QAnon thing. Maybe I shouldn't be as on board with this as I would. Just listen, all right? Please don't rape or murder some children for Q or for Trump, all right? Because that's where it leads, all right? That seems to be where it keeps on leading. These QAnon people end up being pedophiles. They end up being murderers. They end up killing their children, committing terrorist attacks. Please don't rape or kill any children, you QAnon crazy motherfuckers. Please stop doing it. Come on. It's not that hard, all right? I'm literally not raping or killing a child right now. It isn't that hard not to do. Come on, QAnon people, please. But yeah, I think this is a very good example of why the Republican Party needs to be defeated in this country at all costs. As much as we shit on the Democratic Party as progressive leftists, we need to realize that, yeah, we have a common enemy in the Republican Party. The Republican Party is falling so deep into madness that we can't allow them to win. The Democratic Party is an enemy that we can fight once the Republican Party has been destroyed and defeated and stomped into the dust and has no political relevancy anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, conservatives broadly, overall. It's seriously dangerous. The Democratic Party is nowhere near as crazy or harmful as the Republican Party is, and I really, really hate how much lefties tend to I won't say defend the Republican Party, but try to make it out as though the Republican Party is not as bad as it is, or the Democratic Party is even close to as bad. It's not. It simply is not. Anyway, If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I upload a new video or go live or upload a short or anything like that. You can also follow me on my social media, which would be very poggers because I do all sorts of cool stuff on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can also join my fan Discord as we're currently doing watch parties of all sorts of different shows and movies and stuff like that. I'll just like get into a VC and you know, watch movies and stuff with my fans. If at some nights, you know, if I feel like it. Me and my boy Ethan are currently doing a watch through of Breaking Bad. So if you want to see Breaking Bad with me and Ethan, as we watch it and like commentate on it, you can come watch it because it's the only way you're gonna be able to see our reaction. It's kind of like if you ever seen the channel Pretty Much It, where they watch like a movie and they upload it on YouTube, kind of like that. Only no worry of copyright. You get to see the whole movie with us, and I mean, you're actually there in the call watching it live. So, hey, link in the description to join the fan Discord. And of course, if you have the money for it, you don't need it for anything else, and you don't know what to do with it, and you want to support me, you can donate, subscribe, or gift subscriptions on my website, xanderhall.com/live, link in the description, on YouTube by hitting the join button, become a channel member, or super chatting to donate. And of course, on Twitch, you can Prime sub for free if you've got Amazon Prime, and gift subs. And finally, there's Patreon and direct donations through Streamlabs. However, any support from likes, comments, anything like that are always appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.